On a quiet Sunday morning, Karen's phone erupted with a credit monitoring alert. Loan origination alert. $600,000 personal loan in your name from Commonwealth Trust Bank.
I never applied for any loan. This has to be a mistake. It must be. Yes, I need to speak to the fraud department. Someone opened a loan in my name.
The operator's voice was calm, but the rapid-fire questions felt like an interrogation.
No, I've never co-signed anything. I did not give anyone my social security number.
By the time she hung up, a fraud case number was the only thin shield between her and financial ruin, at least for now.
Someone walked into a bank and pretended to be me. Who would do that? And why?
She stared at the alert again, the six-figure loan amount burning into her eyes. But Karen had no idea how devastatingly personal the betrayal would become. Daniel Reeves, the bank's senior fraud investigator, contacted Karen the next day.
Miss Campbell, I need you to review the loan documents in person. We can meet at the branch this afternoon.
Karen drove to the Commonwealth Trust Bank, her stomach tight. Daniel met her in a small glass-walled office and spread the file open.
This is the personal loan application you supposedly signed. Take a close look at the signature block.
He tapped the line where her name was written. It was a practiced, deliberate forgery.
That's not my handwriting. I've never seen this document before in my life. It's close enough to fool a loan officer, but wrong in the small loops the way the pen lifted.
The application also lists a phone number that doesn't belong to you. We traced it. It's a prepaid burner.
That burner phone was the first crack in a much larger fraud, and Karen's unease hardened into dread. Daniel spent the next day dissecting the burner phone's activation records and branch camera logs.
The burner was activated at a convenience store 3 weeks before the closing. Paid cash, no ID required.
He pulled the security footage from the branch where the loan was signed in person. Grainy footage showed a man handing over a driver's license at the teller window. He froze the frame and enlarged it. The ID photo was Karen's, taken from her LinkedIn profile. Someone photoshopped her headshot onto a fake license, and the man had passed it off as his own.
Ms. Campbell, we have significant visual evidence. I need you to come in for a positive identification.
Karen's voice caught on the line. She knew the footage would name her betrayer. But Daniel hadn't told her who the man was, and the truth was closer than she imagined. The frame he kept returning to showed a posture that felt unsettlingly familiar. Karen arrived at the bank the next morning, her pulse hammering as she walked past the teller windows.
I'll play the footage now. Take your time, Ms. Campbell.
The grainy video rolled. A man in a jacket stepped up to the counter, and Karen's breath stopped.
That way he shifts his weight, the tilt of his head. It's Brian, my own brother. That's Brian, my younger brother. He's the one who forged my signature.
You're certain? This is now a family-related fraud case which complicates things legally.
Karen nodded, the word family slicing through her composure like a scalpel.
All those years my parents bailed him out, and now he's done this. Why?
Daniel saved the still frame, the image of Brian's hand passing the fake license across the counter. The evidence was irrefutable, but Karen's next decision would chart a collision course straight through her family.
I can't let him get away with this. Not again. Not this time.
By dawn, a dangerous plan had crystallized, one that would fracture her family on the day they should have been celebrating together.
Mr. Reeves, it's Karen Campbell. I have a proposal about the case, one that requires your department's discretion.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
My family's Easter brunch is this Sunday. I want you and your partner to come and serve Brian with the arrest warrant there.
That's unorthodox. But if you're certain, it can be arranged. My partner Tom Keller and I can be there.
Karen's hand tightened around the folded bank document, the forged signature that would end the pretense.
I'll say nothing to anyone. Just arrive at noon, quietly. I'll open the door.
Understood. We'll be discreet. And Miss Campbell, this will be difficult. Are you prepared?
No, but I have to be. For the first time, I'm not cleaning up his mess.
2 days before Easter, Daniel traced the loan disbursement to a digital wallet at a cryptocurrency exchange. The exchange's records showed the entire $600,000 had been traded for a volatile token that collapsed within 10 days.
Ms. Campbell, I have bad news on the loan funds. They were diverted into a cryptocurrency that's now worthless. The money is gone.
Gone? You mean the entire 600,000? There's no way to recover it?
It was a pump and dump scheme. The tokens are nearly untraceable. We can prove the fraud, but the funds are unrecoverable.
So this isn't about getting my money back. It's about stopping him before he does worse, and making sure no one else pays for his mistakes. Then the plan doesn't change. Sunday still stands. I need to see it through.
Understood. My partner and I will be there. But be prepared, this will burn more than just your credit.
Karen drove home with the weight of a permanent loss pressing on her chest, but also a strange, cold clarity. The forgery in her purse was no longer just evidence, it was the reason she couldn't afford to forgive. That night, Karen sat alone with her phone, a draft message to her mother already typed. Mom, Brian did something.
If I send this, they'll try to stop me. They'll protect him again.
Her thumb moved to delete. She backspaced the words one by one, each tap a deliberate severing.
They've had years to teach him consequences. Now it's my turn to choose.
She powered off the phone and set it face down. Silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy.
He'll be at brunch, bragging about his investment. Let him have one last performance.
She touched the folded bank document in her purse, the evidence that would undo him.
They'll call me cruel. But cruelty is stealing your sister's name, her future, and still expecting a seat at the table.
Karen stood by the mirror, smoothing her cardigan, the face staring back unblinking.
Sunday will come, and when it does, I'll open the door for the truth, and let it walk right into Easter.
The next afternoon, Karen's phone rang with her mother's familiar chime.
Sweetheart, Easter is almost here. Brian says he has wonderful news to share with everyone.
I'm sure it'll be a celebration to remember.
He's turned everything around. I told you he just needed one more chance.
One more chance to steal and lie, Mom. Your faith in him is blinding you.
Karen pressed a smile into her voice, but her knuckles whitened around the phone.
I can't wait to hear it, Mom. We'll see you Sunday.
And bring that cardigan I love, the cream one. You look so pretty in it.
Karen glanced at the cardigan hanging on her closet door, the one she'd chosen deliberately for the day.
I'll be wearing it, Mom. When the door opens on everything you refuse to see.
That Saturday night, Brian sat at the end of a crowded bar buying rounds with cash he didn't earn.
You guys have no idea what it's like to be underestimated your whole life. I just locked down a 6-figure investment. My own family called me a failure, now they'll see.
He tossed a couple 20s on the bar and signaled for another round of whiskeys.
Easter brunch is my stage. I'll walk in and watch their faces when I tell them I made it.
The whiskey warmed his chest and blurred the edges of the lying that had become his new normal.
To proving everyone wrong, cheers to the future. This is just the beginning. Karen thinks she's so smart with her spreadsheets. She's never taken a real risk.
He raised his glass to no one in particular, the ice clinking like a faint alarm he refused to hear. In a quiet office across town, the arrest warrant already bore a judge's signature, the ink dry and final. On Monday morning, Karen sat at her desk in the healthcare firm's finance department, staring blankly at a spreadsheet of quarterly projections.
The numbers blurred into a meaningless fog. All I see is a clock ticking towards Sunday noon.
A colleague from the next cubicle leaned over the partition, concern creasing her forehead.
I'm fine, really. Just didn't sleep well. Long weekend ahead. If only she knew what kind of long weekend I'm actually preparing for.
She closed her laptop at 3:30, an hour earlier than usual, and grabbed her handbag. Walking through the lobby, she kept her stride steady, but her hand drifted to the purse where the folded document lay hidden.
Tomorrow is Saturday. One more day to hold it together.
She drove home in silence, rehearsing the same phrase under her breath. I want to file a formal complaint against my brother. In her apartment, she laid out the cream cardigan, the gold pendant, and the closed notebook, armor for a war no one else knew was coming. Late that evening, Daniel cross-referenced Brian's known signatures against archived loan records.
This isn't the first time. There's another loan, 2 years ago, $50,000 in Margaret Campbell's name.
The signature was a clumsy forgery, almost identical to Brian's work. The loan had been quietly paid off by Margaret herself.
Ms. Campbell, I've uncovered something you need to know right now.
What now? Has he done something else?
2 years ago, Brian forged your mother's signature on a $50,000 personal loan. Your parents paid it off and covered it up.
They knew. They've known all along what he's capable of, and they hid it from me.
Her fingers tightened around the phone until the edges dug into her palm.
Then Sunday isn't just about my loan. It's about making sure he can't hide behind them anymore.
The realization settled over her like cold steel. Her brother wasn't the only one who needed to face consequences. Karen picked up her grandmother's leather notebook, the cover worn soft by decades of household accounts. Inside, a faded photograph of her grandmother stared up from between the pages, a woman who never let a single cent go unrecorded.
She kept their family honest for 50 years. Now it's my turn to balance the books.
She uncapped a pen and turned to a blank page, pressing the nib down with deliberate weight. The fresh ink read, Brian, $600,000, first payment April 9th, $40 per week to be logged.
This is how I'll see justice, not in a single crash, but in a slow, relentless ledger of restitution.
She closed the notebook and slid it into her handbag, next to the folded bank document.
I'm not doing this for revenge. I'm doing it because no one else ever forced him to account for a single thing.
The reflection met her eyes without flinching. Tomorrow would be brutal, but she was no longer the one carrying the weight of his lies. She picked up the cardigan and laid it over the packed bag, a final ritual before the storm she had chosen to invite. Karen parked in the driveway of the family home, the Easter wreath on the door a bright spot against the white trim.
Every step from the car to the porch felt like wading through honey. I'm walking into a reckoning, not just brunch.
Margaret pulled the door open before Karen could knock, her face lit with holiday cheer.
Darling, you're early. Come in, come in. Brian's already here and he's simply glowing.
Wouldn't miss it, Mom. The house looks beautiful.
Inside, the scent of honey-baked ham and fresh lilies wrapped around her like a familiar blanket that suddenly felt suffocating.
Well, look who finally decided to show up. I was just telling Dad about the deal I closed.
Closed a deal. Interesting choice of words for forging a signature and robbing a bank.
She took her seat across from Brian, unfolding her napkin with the precision she usually reserved for quarterly reports. The brunch was set, the champagne flutes glistening. Somewhere across town, a dark sedan with 2 men in suits was already rolling toward the same address. Margaret rose from her chair, tapping a spoon against her crystal flute, the signal for a holiday toast.
To my 2 children, may this Easter bring nothing but blessings, and may we always find our way back to each other.
Thanks, Mom. And I've got an announcement that fits right with that blessing. I finally secured the investment I've been working on for months. 6 figures. My business is officially on track. It's been a long road, but I told you I'd make something of myself. No more loans, no more handouts, just pure success.
No more loans. He's lying through his teeth while spending a fortune that isn't his, and I'm the collateral. That's wonderful, Brian. You must have worked very hard for that.
The table erupted in mild applause, Paul nodding solemnly while Margaret dabbed at her eyes. Karen's champagne flute stayed on the table, her fingers resting lightly on the stem as she counted the seconds with the precision of a metronome. Outside, beyond the bright wreath and pastel eggs, the crunch of tires on gravel whispered through the closed windows. The doorbell cut through Margaret's toast, a sharp 2-note chime that froze every hand mid-gesture. Karen rose slowly, not a flinch of surprise. She smoothed the front of the cream cardigan with both hands.
This is the sound I've been waiting for. Every step toward that door is a choice I already made.
She opened the door to find 2 men in dark suits, files in hand. The brighter sunlight behind them cast their features in shadow.
Ms. Campbell, I'm Daniel Reeves from Commonwealth Trust Bank Fraud Investigation. This is my partner, Tom Keller. May we come in?
Of course. He's in the dining room.
Brian turned in his chair. The champagne glass slipped from his fingers and shattered on the hardwood floor.
Who are these people? What is going on here? Karen?
Tom folded his badge and produced the arrest warrant, his eyes already locked on Brian's paling face. The brunch lay abandoned, the uneaten ham forgotten, the scent of lilies suddenly cloying. Karen stood apart, her expression unreadable.
Brian Campbell, we have evidence you forged a loan application in your sister's name, obtaining $600,000.
That's insane. I don't know what you're talking about, Karen. Tell them.
We matched your handwriting, traced the burner phone you purchased, and pulled branch security footage of you presenting a fake ID.
He tapped the forged signature on the application, the ink a permanent brand of betrayal. Brian's chest heaved, his eyes darting toward the back door. The confidence of minutes earlier had evaporated.
You're under arrest for forgery, identity theft, and bank fraud. Turn around and place your hands behind your back.
Margaret's gasp cut through the room. Paul's head dropped into his hands. Karen did not move.
This is a setup. She's been jealous of me for years. She put you up to this.
The warrant is signed by a judge. Your sister's only involvement was filing a fraud report after you stole her identity.
Tom stepped forward, the handcuffs catching the dining room light, and the day that began with champagne and lilies collapsed into the sound of metal clicking into place.
Brian Campbell, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law.
Brian thrashed once, a desperate wrench against the steel, but Tom's grip was immovable.
No, 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 this is a mistake. You can't do this on Easter. Brian, tell them it's not true.
Paul didn't move, his head still buried in his hands, a muffled sound like a swallowed sob the only sign he was listening.
I knew you'd scream, Mom. For him, always for him. But not a word for the daughter he bankrupted.
Tom tugged Brian toward the foyer, Daniel falling in behind. The procession passed the fruit arrangement that Brian had bragged about paying for.
Karen, this is your doing. I'll get you for this. You'll be sorry.
Karen, stop them. You know Brian, he's not a criminal, he just makes mistakes.
Karen's hand rose just slightly, palm out, a quiet, impermeable barrier. Her voice when it came was steadier than Margaret had ever heard it.
He forged my signature, Mom. $600,000. He's not your little boy right now. He's a felon, and I'm done cleaning up.
But he's your brother, Karen. Blood doesn't do this to blood. You can fix it. Just tell them you won't press charges.
He also forged your name on a $50,000 loan 2 years ago. You paid it off and hid it from me. There is no fix left.
Margaret's mouth opened, but no sound came. Paul's shoulders shook in the silence. He knew. Of course he knew. The whole family had been a vault of secrets, and Karen was done being the only one who didn't know the combination.
We were protecting you, and protecting the family name. If you'd known, you would have turned against him then.
And instead, you let him turn against me. Congratulations. The family name is now a case file.
Karen picked up her handbag from the chair, the folded bank documents still inside, and walked into the foyer without looking back.
Karen, please. If you walk out that door, I don't know if I can forgive you.
I'm not the one who needs forgiveness, Mom. I'm just the first person who ever bothered to balance the books.
The door clicked shut. On the other side, Margaret's weeping fell into a vacuum. Karen walked to her car with the same deliberate steps she'd taken inside. The next morning, Karen sat in the same bank office where she'd first seen her brother's forgery, the silence heavier than before.
The investigation traced every dollar. Brian converted the loan to a cryptocurrency that collapsed. The entire $600,000 is unrecoverable.
I already accepted that. But what about my credit?
The bank's fraud insurance has been triggered. Your credit will be fully restored within 48 hours.
He slid a formal exoneration letter across the desk. Her name cleared, but the weight of the loss pressed into the space between them. A notification lit up Karen's phone. Fraud confirmed. Liability removed. Credit restored.
So this is what justice looks like. A cleared credit score and a family in ruins. But at least the numbers finally add up.
You did something most people can't. You held someone accountable no matter the personal cost.
It wasn't about strength. It was about finally forcing the only person who should have been accountable to face the consequences.
She stood, smoothed her cream cardigan, and walked out of the bank into a life where the math was finally honest, even if nothing else was. 2 years later, Brian completed his sentence and walked out of the correctional facility with nothing but a duffel bag and a court-ordered restitution plan. He found work as a dishwasher at a downtown diner, the steam from the machine clouding his face from 6 in the morning until after dark.
Every plate I scrub reminds me of what I broke.
Every Friday, he sat at a wobbly table in the kitchen's break corner and filled out a personal check. The amount never changed. $40, payable to Karen Campbell.
I know I'll never finish repaying, but I have no right to miss a single week.
He slid the check into a plain envelope and dropped it in the mailbox outside the diner, never adding a return address. No note. No call. The check arrived in a P.O. box Karen had set up solely for the payments, the only proof he was still trying. Sometimes after mailing it, he stood by the mailbox and listened to the traffic, the city noise a quiet penance, and every Friday, without fail, the envelope went out. A slow, silent apology no one would ever thank him for. Every Saturday morning, Karen walked to the post office and checked a small P.O. box she'd set up for one purpose. Inside, a plain white envelope waited. No return address. Just her name in Brian's handwriting.
So he's really doing it. $40 just like the court ordered.
She carried it home, the weight much lighter than the debt. At her desk, she pulled out the old leather notebook, now serving a different kind of accounting. She opened to the first page where the header read, Brian, $600,000, $40 per week. She uncapped a pen and wrote the first entry. April 9th, check number 101, $40 received. The ink sank into the paper, a tiny mark against an ocean of loss.
14,000 weeks to go. But at least now, the ledger doesn't start with 0.
She closed the notebook, placing it beside a stack of returned checks, a silent history of restitution. Over the weeks that followed, the notebook grew heavier with every line. Week 2, check number 102. Week 5, check number 105. Each entry a quiet affirmation.
I never write back. I just record the number and file the check.
The checks accumulated in a small box, each one a promise kept, a debt slowly shrinking. Some weeks the envelope didn't come until Tuesday. Karen never called to ask why. She simply left the notebook open on her desk, a ledger no one would ever audit but her.
I trusted him once. Now I just trust the math.
On a still evening, she closed the notebook and placed it on the shelf next to her grandmother's photograph. The pen rested beside it, the ink finally still. Some debts are paid in silence, some trust never returns, but the books were balanced.